Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Erica, welcome back to the channel, and I just did a little video on how to resign professionally. So now I'm going to follow this one up with an article I actually wrote in 2017 for Onboard, and it's called How to Get Fired. So I was asked the question, what constitutes a sackable offence in yachting the other day? Crikey, what a broad topic, but let's see what we can come up with. So as with any industry, sorry, just a second. I just need to adjust myself, my screen. Anyway, sorry, carry on. As with any industry, there are several things that would eventually lead to dismissal. Most yachts tend to operate on giving verbal warnings, often two, and then a written warning, and then that's it. So a bit of a 3 strikes and you're out ruling does apply to minor offences. But obviously there are rules for gross misconduct, which basically means you're off the yacht with immediate effect. Now, most of these minor ones are common sense. I know that's a dangerous term to use these days, but I'm going to stick with it. And may well be incorporated into your contract. For example, consistently arriving late to start your shift or your watch, not performing your duties to the best of your abilities, being drunk or high on duty, or being so hungover from the night before you're a danger to yourself or others. Being disrespectful to your peers or your seniors or disruptive, bullying other crew members, acting in an unsafe manner. Lots of things that over the course of a season, or often just a few weeks, will pop up when you're living with people 24/7. And the cause of these could be down to the fact that a crew member just simply isn't happy. Who knows? Happiness is another topic that we'll cover another time. So immediate sackable offences, again, can be quite easy to think of. Violence, for example, of any sort is not permitted, especially whilst you're wearing crew uniform and you're at the local bar. But in all seriousness, any physical threats against other crew members or actual violent acts are usually greeted with zero tolerance, as they should be. Overstepping the mark and being too familiar with guests. Now, that's not only awkward, it's likely not accepted by many owners. I mean, some owners do like to, and guests like to give it a bit of banter. So just be aware of that. And if in doubt, ask the other crew, ask the seniors, watch how they navigate it before you jump in headfirst and start calling that billionaire mate and slapping him on the back. Don't do that. Some guests will find, being cheeky and giving it the banter an invasion of privacy, but sometimes guests will actively seek you out to get you to join in with them. And obviously this is something you need to check with your captain. If they say, come on, have a beer with me, don't just crack open a tinny on the aft deck. See what the limit's like. Yeah. And also, are you leaving everyone else to do your work while you sip champagne? Remember, you're there to work. You are not a guest. So, another good way to get fired is by lying. False documents, falsifying references, lying about your experience. Yeah, you're gone. You're out. If the yacht has policies of no visitors without permission, bringing your own guests back is generally a sackable offence, especially when they drink the boss's booze, or worse, the captain's. Non-disclosure agreements are super delicate and warrant an entire discussion on their own merits. I have recently written an article for Dockwalk on NDAs in 2025, so we'll circle back to that one and do that one in depth. But yeah, basically owners value their privacy and you should respect that. And they pay your wages, so don't Instagram everything you do on board with hashtag yacht crew life lols with your head down the toilet and that. Having drugs of any kind on board is another one, obviously. Similarly, if you're on a dry boat, i.e. no alcohol permitted at any time, and you have a stash of booze in your cabin, you'll be off in a heartbeat, whether it's the captain's policy or the owner's. Also, if you turn up drunk after a night off, if you've been warned not to do that again, you're off. Now, religious or personal beliefs of the owner must also be respected. There's the case of the chef who was fired because he served bacon-flavoured canapes to the non-pork eating owners. And another chef who was fired for keeping non-kosher food in the kosher fridges. And one who put masala wine in the tiramisu for the non-drinking owners. Chefs, be careful. In addition to these ones, which are arguably understandable to a point, Research one Sunday morning on Facebook uncovered some absolute corkers of reasons for instant dismissal. So let's go through those, shall we? A stewardess who got fired for making eye contact with the owner. I'm waiting to hear if either party turned to stone, but wow. A deckhand fired because the chairs were not lined up with the caulking on the aft bridge deck. Okay. The first mate who was fired and then rehired for doing his actual job correctly and making the broken boat work. Yeah. The chief stew who was let go for not using fabric napkins when the owners of the yacht came for lunch in the shipyard. They were well aware that the yacht was packed out with absolutely no interior gear on board, as they were in the midst of a massive refit and had said they'd be happy with sandwiches, but yeah. And then there was the deckhand who slept with the boss's daughter. Awkward. Another stew who didn't steam the correct outfit for the missus. Foolishly, she'd only steamed the other 10 the missus had picked out and forgotten to use her crystal ball. Silly girl. The chief stew, who as a size 40, a UK 12, was too fat for the boat's look. The captain's wife was responsible for that one. The chef who was caught drinking on the job several times. Fair. The other chef who threw a hot baking pan containing a roast joint of meat at the stews for asking her to wait on... Hang on a minute. I need to start that one again. This one's just too much. Right, there was a chef who threw a hot baking pan containing a roast joint of meat at the stewardesses who'd asked her to wait on dishing up mains on the boss's request. The poor stew who was fired for not putting the shower head back at exactly the same angle after cleaning the bathroom. Silly, innit? A chef who had to depart after ripping paper towels whilst the boss was on board. Evidently he had a thing and hated the sound. Another chef who was accused of putting gluten in her gluten-free cake. She hadn't. The stew who was fired after being caught performing fellatio at the back of the boat in St. Martin on the dock. An engineer who let Sky TV go down during the World Cup whilst in Greece. And another stew whose eyelashes were too long. Owner told her to remove them as they were false, and when she couldn't, well... the galley hand who was tasked with going ashore in France to buy croissants, fired by the boss because they were straight croissants and not curved croissants. So I'll leave you with this to show that instant dismissal can happen to any rank. And, you know, these are what people have told me on Facebook. So I think we should take some of them with a pinch of salt. But yeah, story time, isn't it? The captain who was released for his duties early due to being caught pleasuring himself on the bridge whilst viewing porn on the kaleidoscope system, which was rather unfortunately linked to the owner's cabin, is always a good one to recap on. There's never a dull moment in yachting, is there? So yeah, if you've been fired for a ridiculous reason, or you know someone who has, God, tell us in the comments. Let's have a giggle. Yeah, stay safe out there. And if you do get fired for a ridiculous reason, just remember it's not you, it's the industry. It's a wild, wild west of yachting. Look after each other.